Welcome back to the Olga S Press Show. I'm your host, Olga. How you doing? How's everybody doing? What's going on? I have a special guest for you guys today. Oh my God, I'm nervous. Can you tell? And it's been quite a day. We've had some issues with tech, whatever, transportation. My God, I almost feel like it's a miracle that we're here today. So hope you guys can join us live. And of course, you know your comments are my fuel. Keep them coming. I do read them. I will respond. Hope that you do join us live. And so without further ado, well, you know what? Before we get the party started, let's do a quick intro for those who are new to my channel and don't know maybe like who I am, what we're about here. Although today's an exclusive special, but we'll talk about it as we go on the live starting now. Hi, I'm Olga S. Pérez coming at you live, unleashing the power of perspective, one reaction at a time. I've been a life strategist for over 20 years, and I'm here to share my insights on trending topics, current news, and music videos that we all want to talk about with love and humor. I know. It's either you're in it and you feel my energy and you're like, okay, it's good, it's getting hyped up, it's changing the energy of the day. Or you're like, oh, that's so annoying. Doesn't matter, okay? That's what being real and authentic is all about. So here we go. Without further ado, please welcome my special guest, Darlena Watson. She's going to tell you all about her, and you're going to know why she's here. And you're going to know why I'm getting nervous. Okay, all right. Without further ado, here we go. Please welcome Darlena. Can you hear me?
Hi there.
Hi.
I may have a bit of a lag. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I can see the visual is a little laggy, but I can hear you. And then there's pause. Go ahead and introduce yourself, Darlena. Who are you? What do you do?
Here.
Oh, all right, guys. Good to know. So again, Darlena, what is it that you do?
All right. Well, my name is Darlena Watson. I'm here today with Olga to talk to you about human design. For those of you who are not familiar with human design, it's a way for you to learn about who you are authentically via your own personal chart. Human design is cool because it takes the guesswork out of figuring out why you do the things you do, why you are irritated by the things you're irritated by, what you can do to make your life more resilient and more enjoyable, less complicated. There's so much about ourselves that we can learn from our charts that give us the empowerment to be able to live the good life, fight the good fight, so to speak, not have to deal with things that make no sense to us or why we react the way we react. It gives us the ability to create what we want in life rather than just responding to the stuff that comes our way.
Right. I mean, because I was referred to Darlena, and I had actually watched her on someone else's channel, and I was like, oh my God, I love what she does. I knew a little bit about the human design, but I'm not an expert at all. But for those who know me, I am into astrology and the esoteric and stuff like that. So Darlena, compared to astrology, what's the difference or what's the similarity?
Actually, astrology is one of the components of human design. So let's just say human design is Home Depot. And within Home Depot, you've got the plumbing section, the lumber section, the appliances, all these different things. Well, human design is the Home Depot. Within it, you'll find astrology, the I Ching, the Kabbalah, the chakra system, and quantum physics. So the combination of those 5 things is what is the creation known as human design. Human design takes astrology and uses it as the broad basis and then brings it in even finer. So the 12 zodiac signs, each zodiac sign has 6 to 6.5, because some are on the cusp, different gates or channels associated with it. Take the energy of, say, Gemini and fine tune it even finer instead of just the whole broad spectrum of a Gemini.
So Darlena got my info, and the info you need for her to do your chart is your birth date and time of birth, correct, Darlena?
Correct.
Okay. So Darlena,
so like Olga.
Yeah, like you did my chart. And she sent, so I emailed her my info and date of birth and time. And then she sends me, her phase 1 of how she does a reading for you. And specifically, I mean, so she's going to do me right now live. So guys, what the good, the bad, and the ugly, whatever she sees, she's going to be sharing with us. And I know, we did speak on the phone, and she's tremendous. She's amazing. Love her energy. And again, I've seen her work already. I know she's amazing. So that's why I'm a little nervous. Like, you guys are going to find out stuff about me that, I don't know, maybe it'll surprise me, maybe it'll surprise you. So we're going to get into that. I'm going to screen share the chart that she created for me based on my information, and we'll go from there. But wait, I just lost my thought. I was going to say something else about, wait. So, okay, the stats. Yeah. So we did the comparisons. Anyway. I remember my thought. So one of the things Darlena mentioned, and Darlena, I think I'm going to ask you that maybe after you read my chart or my human design, because Darlena was explaining how it's not just about you and, like you said, getting over or getting through some obstacles or figuring stuff out better to get through life, but especially with relationships. And guys, I'm all about relationships. So she has used this design, this wisdom. In fact, okay, so let me finish that thought. So she's used it to help couples. That's just one thing. That's why I think this is so powerful and so important. And I'm just so glad to have her here with us. But Darlena, where does this come from? Where's the roots of the human design? Who created it? Like, where did it come from? I don't know if she froze or it's lagging. For those of you that are joining in now, she's had some trouble this morning with the internet, and then she just mentioned that there was a storm. So are you there, Darlena? I don't know if you can hear me, because we can't hear you and it's lagging. We can't hear you. We can't hear you. If you can hear me, Darlena, maybe if you refresh the page, that might help. Just hit like the refresh page and you should be back in. Or if it bumps you out, I'll let you right back in. But we can't hear you. Am I frozen on your end? Meantime, Buzzacino, to ground yourself is to find your path. For without the path, the spirit flies free, and we must learn to walk before we can fly, lest we fly blindly away from our destiny. Beautiful, Buzzacino. I love that. Thank you for sharing. And if you guys don't know, I am live on Rumble, not just the boob tube, Rumble and Twitter. And share this content. Sharing is caring. Darlena, you froze. We couldn't hear you or anything.
Maybe I'm back. Can you hear me now?
Yes. All right. So how about which is the first thing you want me to screen share?
All right, let's put your chart up.
That one or this one?
That will work. So, you were asking me before I froze a second ago what this has to do with astrology. This is the Astro Mandala that I would put out to anybody who wanted to have a reading with me or wanted to know about their own chart. And as you can see from looking at that, in the very center of the Astro Mandala is what we call the body graph. That's the unique human design chart that's specific to you, Olga. And as you go out from that very center, you see all the different gates and channels, but you'll notice that, like, were you to go over to the space where it says Leo, you can see which gates are specifically in Leo. And that's where your sun sign is, Olga. Yours, of course, being the gate 33 right there in Leo. And it's actually in brown on that spoke because your center that comes from is defined, which means absolutely nothing to you. But as a reader, it means a lot to me. And then my sun sign is also in Leo, and mine is the gate 56. So what you have is two different Leos with very different expressions of what Leo is for them. Because we fine tune it down to gate 33 for you and gate 56 for me. So the type of Leos that we are is going to be a little bit different. And that can kind of help you see how human design magnifies astrology. So as you can see for you, Olga, that gate 33 has a little black box right above it. And I can see that if I trace that out, it comes into the second, that green area on civilization, and in parentheses it says form. Yeah. So your sun sign is all about the collective, growing civilization, growing things for people, which is pretty cool considering who you are and what you do. And you'll also notice that is in the let's see, that's in the 11th house for you. Now, do you notice that red circle on the outskirts of where you see the 11? That is the component that human design adds to astrology, that astrology in red there with the first and the second, third, fourth, all the way through 12th house. And so any numbers that are part of your design, so you have 14 different personality characteristics of yourself. I don't know if I'm still on.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, so that's what we call the design side. And that's where you see so many other aspects of yourself. Now, I know that this is a little bit annoying because of the lag and everything. So while I'm still on, what I want to say to your viewers, what's so cool about this is that everybody has their own one of these that's specific to them. So you can learn a lot about a person based on their design, based on their chart. How does that help in relationships? Well, consider parents and children. If you knew that there were certain hard wirings for your child that you should either help inflate or like lower a little bit, you would. Like if you knew that your child had, let's just say, the gate 10, which is gate 10, it is it's on the cusp of Sagittarius and Capricorn. So depending on the person, how it expresses is either going to be Capricorn or Sagittarius. And their houses will be different than yours because everybody's chart is specific. But if you knew your child had the gate 10, you would treat them in a way that supported that rather than made that worse for them. Gate 19, which you do have, Olga, gate 19, when you look at the chart, is the most sensitive of all of the gates. So when you're reading someone's human design chart, one of the first things you would notice is if they have gate 19, such as you. When you see somebody with a gate 19, man, you know that they are very, very, very sensitive to all kinds of things, whether it be clairaudient, any kind of, like you could really tell whether or not someone was lying to you. It would be very apparent to you. You're extremely perceptive. People with the gate 19 have a great ability to understand animals. That is such a sensitive gate. But then furthermore, people who have the gate 19, because of that sensitivity, can pull back because they don't know what to make of that, this extreme ability to see through people, and they may build walls around themselves because they don't want to be hurt. So they might really shut down vulnerability as a self-protectant. So when you start reading for someone who has the gate 19, you want to make sure that you are not being offensive to them or being inauthentic, because they will know it in a second if you are. For you, does that ring true for you?
Yeah, especially when I was younger. The walls were there when I was younger, but then part of my, growth.
See, for you, gate 19 is in your earth placement. And astrology does not take into account your earth placement because you're standing on the earth. But human design gives you that additional placement. And in earth placements in human design, we're really looking at what stabilizes this person, what grounds them. And so that 19 energy, if it were in your Saturn, we would approach it differently we do for you being in your earth. So because the 19 is grounding energy for you at this point in your life, you've learned how to use that gate 19 energy to stabilize yourself. You will get a read on people from the very beginning to decide whether or not you even want to be involved with them. That's a stabilizing thing for you. If your sensitivity tells you, I don't want to get involved with this person in any way, whether it's a friendship or a work relationship, you won't, because you've come to realize that that's a protection for you. It's not going to allow you to be hurt. But if we were looking at a relationship chart, and let's just say you were going to get involved with someone, you would want to make sure that they understood that people are not going to be able to lie to you. You'll know you have this sensitivity. You also, when I look at your chart, you have the gate 12, and it's in your design. Let's see, that is Mars. It's in your design Mars. And so gate 12 is a voice that when people speak, other people hear them. So that Mars placement for you on your design side tells me that you need to be mindful of the words that you use, because if you were to pop off something that was not authentic, people would know it and they wouldn't like it. So for you to be able to use your words correctly, you've got to be in correct timing and correct understanding of what you're saying, or else you come across like you're babbling. What you're trying to impart to somebody, if it's out of correct timing, you'll be just like, well, what am I even saying right now? So there's so many cool things when we look at a chart. I see the gate 44 for you, which means you can spot a pattern a mile away. That's in one of your other earth placements. So for you as a coach, a life coach, when clients come to you, you can assess their patterns very quickly, which helps you as a coach to know how to navigate them away from patterns that are hurtful for them or harmful for them. In relationships, if you know your partner's chart, it allows you guys to get into a whole deeper relationship than you would without the chart. For instance, if there are things about your partner that drive you batty, you can look for it in the chart. And sometimes when you know that they can't help it, that actually makes it a little bit easier to deal with. So we've all heard of love languages. This is love languages beyond your love language. This is way into your entire being, not just your love language.
Yeah, no, it's true. This is quite, think about it. You don't even know me. And I just had somebody who does know me.
Yeah.
Did you see me? I popped it up. It says so true. I mean, and we're talking about people that they get away with lies all the time. Huh? Excuse me? I'm sorry. Can you hear me? I'm letting you know how there are people in my life, and you know who you are out there, that they really think they can lie and hide. And no matter how good they might have gotten away with it for years, but not with me. And then they just really they ultimately will throw the towel in and be like, all right, fine, yeah. Like, because I don't judge at the same time. So I'm like, look, I know why you're lying. I know what the lie is. I know who you really are, but that's fine. I'm not gonna, you know, uh, hang you for it, right? I'm just letting you know, stop wasting your time. You're wasting your time, you're wasting my time. And then I make people laugh because they're like, damn. Like, and I didn't know. I didn't know I was born with that. I've always been that way. So yeah. So what's the ugly of my chart? Tell me about the ugly. You're freezing. Can't hear you. Sorry, guys. And this is live. How awesome is this?
I'm
I'm burying my chest
so
here.
sorry about this. I can't even tell you my Can you hear me now?
Yes. Keep talking.
I'm so disappointed. I've been so excited to talk to your guests about this, and this lagging is upsetting me seriously because I'm
Yeah.
so disappointed about not being able to talk about this. Am I on for a second again? Can you hear me again?
I can hear you now. Yes.
Olga, when I look at your chart too, just while I can, I will tell you that I see joy in your chart. So you're a really joyful person and you have a zest for life. But there are times when you can actually deny yourself joy. If you're in a low expression, if your mindset isn't where it needs to be, you may actually deny yourself joy, almost like a self punishment kind of thing. Have you ever noticed that?
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, it's hard to.
Another thing that I noticed in your chart,
What's the other thing you notice in the chart?
the other thing I noticed in your chart, which you'll get a kick out of, is the gate 51. And it is actually coming off of an undefined center for you. And it's in your Mercury placement, which is your communication center. And it's in the design side. So it's a part of your personality that other people see that you may not necessarily see. And what I love about it is for you and the type of work there's and the things you say can be both shocking and also they can get you shocked. So
Yeah.
your personality can be a bit of like a cattle prod, that walks up to somebody and just stings them.
Yeah. Yeah. And I've had to learn through the years to
And
like
so,
work on the delivery to not get the,
yeah, but you know what? The beautiful thing about the gate of initiation, gate 51, is that you shouldn't try to temper yourself because you're designed perfectly perfect. So if you're going around shocking people, it's because they need to have that shock. It shocks them into their own chart.
oh
See,
my
so
God.
when we learn about authenticity, we learn to be our true selves because to not be your true self causes a mix up in the way the charts work for everybody. You're meant to initiate people into situations that cause them to be better versions of themselves. You do bring about joy with others. You are meant to be someone who speaks to others and helps them to see the patterns in their own life. Everything in your chart supports what you're doing. And so the more that you get to know your chart, the more you'll refrain from trying to squelch yourself at all. You won't. You'll step into that authenticity that says, I'm not squelching myself for anyone. You are what we call a manifesting generator in human design. And the manifesting generators are the golden children of human design because you're two different types, both manifester and generator mixed into one. And so manifesting generators are tasked with going through life, responding to things that then help initiate other people into their own charts. How perfect is that for what you do with your podcast?
I know. And not that I had this reading until now, right? So it's not like I had this reading and then I go, oh, I'm gonna, you know, go totally along with my destiny or my makeup,
Yes, your design.
my design path, right? So yeah, so walking in the dark for all these years, right? And trying different things and doing different things, but like ultimately things always came to me, like becoming a coach is because people kept coming to me, asking me for help, asking me for advice, asking me for guidance, asking me for motivation. And then they would tell their friends, and then their friends would come to me. And then I'm like,
Well, the
okay.
gate 33, which is your sun sign, is all about, yes. The gate 33, which is your sun sign, is all about leading and guiding others into narratives that help them have more joy in their life. So it isn't surprising at all that they would come to you for that kind of support. And then also, you have a 4-6 profile. And what I know when I see a 4-6 profile is a sixth line is somebody who is a role model. And it lives out the first 50 years of life experiencing everything it can possibly experience for the sake of using that information as a role model to others. So you'll be able to use your voice in the gate 12 to tell people, hey, listen, I've tried that. It doesn't work. Don't waste your time. And because of the way you're designed and calibrated in your chart, they will listen to you. That's why you're such a good coach, because at this point in your life, you recognize patterns, you know what you're talking about because you've been there, done that on a lot of different things. You are extremely intuitive and perceptive about others. So you're going to be able to understand what they're going through very quickly and easily. You are going, by nature of the other things in your chart, you're going to be able to shock, says to them, hey, I'm going to say something to you that's really going to shock you. And it causes them to course correct to a center point. Because if they're real far this way or real far this way, through your coaching and your pattern recognition, you can take them to center. Everybody has a chart. Everybody has a specific purpose with their chart. And then when you're dealing with other people and you learn their chart and they know yours, you can stop having silly little fights over things that neither one of you can control. Does that make sense?
Yes. 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 Yep. So what's
So it really revolutionizes relationships.
what revolutionizes what? You cut out.
I said it really revolutionizes relationships.
Oh yeah, yeah. Yeah. So it's so interesting. So Darlena, I mean, I got 1,000 questions. I don't know. I'm not seeing anybody in the chats having any questions. But again, guys, if you're watching this replay, make sure to leave your questions in the comments, anything. Also, Darlena's information, I've linked it in the description below. You can look it up, click on the link, book a call with Darlena. I mean, today we're having a off day with the internet connection. It's not her fault, my fault. Literally, for those who are plugging in now, she's in a storm. And she already had issues this morning when we almost rescheduled. I was okay with that. I was like, it's okay, Darlena. Like, we'll just reschedule. But we were both ready and we're both excited. And this is so much deeper, guys. This is a very, very superficial, not superficial, but very, like I said, there's phases, right? Like you sent me an email with like phase 1, right? But then there's more. There's more to it.
Right. And, like you were talking about astrology, right now, all of us are going to be having a new moon on the 14th. And the new moon is in the gate 47, the gate of mindset. It's the transition is going around that mandala that you have up on the screen, and it's going to be activating gate 47. Gate 47, when it's activated through the moon placement, is there for all of us. And it's for all of us to spend some time in reflection on where our mindset is. What is it you want to create in your life? When you have the new moon, you get to set new intentions for the next cycle of the moon. This is the last moon cycle before the solar eclipse. And we know that eclipses are bookends. They end one thing and begin another. So this is the last opportunity in this new moon to around the next 2 to 3 year phase of your life, beginning on October 14th with that solar eclipse. So gate 47, which is actually in, let's see, 47 is in Virgo. What are the details? We know Virgo is about the details. What are the details of what you want? It's interesting, and I use this analogy with my clients. Sometimes you get in the car and you press the Google Maps, and you have to give it a destination. If you just get in the car and say, okay, Google, I want to go somewhere, nothing's going to come up. No navigation is going to come up. It can't take you anywhere until you set the parameters of where you want to go and how you want to get there. That's basically what the gate 47 is asking us to do in this new moon. What do you want for the next 2 years of your life? What parameters would you like to put into play? What would you like to see go away? What would you like to see come to you? And then what can you do to facilitate that? Because it's not enough if you're going to be a creative person. It isn't enough to just say, I want to be happy. What does that even mean? I want to have a better relationship with someone. What does that even mean? In order for you to do that, you have to set the parameters. What does it mean? I want to be happy. Does it mean you want to be joyful? Does it mean you want to have more financial stability? What is it you're looking for? And so you have to set those parameters. And this new moon in gate 47 is asking you to do just that, just in time for the solar eclipse, October 14th, which is the beginning of a new cycle of starting and manifesting the things that you decide you want in your life. So what a great time to meet you, Olga, because you and I are having the opportunity to explain some of this to people so that they can set some good intentions over the next moon cycle.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm all about that. I'm all about the new moon and putting out the intention. But yeah, knowing what intention to do. And I typically will, when I work with my clients and they're open to it, I say, I have this like wish list that I do literally in blue ink, blank piece of paper, and 10 wishes. But you don't just say wish, and you speak like in the present time, like I am this, right? Not like I want this, I am this, or I am doing this, or whatever their wishes are. But I plug it into the astrology of whatever that new moon is. So it's the Virgo, in this case, it's Virgo. Then I would say, here's what rules Virgo, right? Like attention to detail, tasking, organizing, health. Virgo's very much into health. So, and maybe there's something that you've been really struggling with, like say losing weight, right? Or just changing your eating habits into maybe a more healthy pattern, or again, organizing your closets, whatever it is, right? And so I write that list, I tell my clients, and they put it in the window so that the new moon can basically read it. And I go, and then by the full moon, at least one thing will happen. It's a fact. It's never failed. Everyone that's ever tried it, they're like, this is weird. It's so real. And then the more that you're clear in your intention, the more you let it go. You put it out there in the moonlight for a couple of days, and you put it somewhere where you can see it, but not where, like, say you have a family, you have a bunch of kids. You don't want it on the fridge because everyone's energy is going to be around it and mess it up. So maybe, like, I don't know if you have a vanity, where for a woman, right? If you're doing your makeup or something, or a part of the closet where your husband doesn't go, or, your partner, depends, right? But it's still out there. And whether it's a real moon energy thing, right? Or whether it's psychologically to set the intention and how the subconscious serves the conscious, right? Serves the person that's driving today, but who's been the backseat driver telling the driver today how to be, right? How to think, how to feel. But, we also get all these patterns because even when I know what to do, guess what? I get right back into my old habits all the time. I'm constantly having to revamp and say, hey, what are you doing? Like, what complaining does? Complaining just gives you more of that shit. So like, why are you complaining? But part of you wants to get it off your chest. But you know what I mean? You're supposed to be able to go, okay, I'm aware. You know what I mean? Because I know whatever I say, my subconscious listening, or thinking, my subconscious is taking notes going, oh, you're miserable. Oh, you're lonely. Okay, no problem. Got it. I'll make sure you're lonely. You told me, I heard you. That's my job so the human design, this is so interesting to me because I know very little about it. I'm not even going to try to, because it took me years to master astrology and psychology, not just with reading and studying it, but utilizing it, implementing in your life, testing on people, right? And then you're like, wow, there is something to this. And then, like you said, if I was born in my chart and my human design, if I was already inclined, it also shows in my astrology chart that I've always been inclined to like the esoteric, the more psychic, intuitive parts of life and, and getting my answers through that because science never provided me. Science was like, nah. Who's this Darwin dude? Nah. I don't buy it. And that was my young self, like young teenager, like 13 years old, that I knew. I'm like, this is nah. And then as I got older, then I would look and I research. I'm like, who's this guy? Where did it come from? When did they decide that this is real? Because I'm like, you can't prove it. You can't prove evolution. How can it be? And I passed a college course. It was one of the, you had the electives, but then you have to do the ones first. Don't even get me started with college because I never believed in it. But I did it to prove to everyone that I could do it because they're like, oh, it's so easy to dismiss education if you never did it. I'm like, all right. So I'll do it just to show you I can start something and finish it. Okay, I'm going to do that. That's a big achievement for me. But as far as that, it actually taught me anything or that was really useful. No. I saw all the flaws in the system. I saw the indoctrination, and I don't know if you know this. I don't know if I told you this when we spoke on the phone, but I was locked in a convent. So talk about on top of the fact that I'm locked in a situation and having to swallow the religion and the indoctrination of the school system and whatever those textbooks were teaching us. And I'm like, no. And so going back to the college class, I think it was a biology class or no, maybe it was a geology, whatever, but it was college level. Well, anyway, can you believe in college level, one of the questions in the test was a Big Bang theory. In fact, they still call it a theory. And I didn't get a good score. In fact, I don't even know if I passed the test. And I confronted the teacher and I said, or the professor, and I said, you can't test somebody. This is not like 2 and 2 is 4. This is a theory. And you're asking me to choose A, B, C, D of a theory as if the theory is a fact. So are you testing me on the fact that, do you remember that I taught you about a thing called the, Big Bang theory? I'm sorry. That's not a yes or no question. That's not a right or wrong answer. And so they were like, no, Olga, you know what the answer to have. You should give it. I'm like, let's go to the dean. I want to challenge this. And I passed. Without having to redo the test. I won the argument. So it's like, can you imagine? Like, so I've always been that way. It's like, it's not that
Awesome.
yeah, because it's true. Like if you were to say to me, this rock is made out of this, carbon, whatever, right? Like every rock has its different components and I'm supposed to remember the components, fine. And if I didn't get the components, the exact makeup of that rock, fine. But you tested me on which one did the earth came from. The A, B, C, and one of them was the Big Bang theory, which that was supposed to be the right answer. And I'm like, that's not the right question. That's not even a question. So yeah. I've definitely, you said a lot that sparked a lot of memories. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Darlena.
It's really interesting too when I look at your chart. You have a lot of fixedness in your chart, which means you're pretty confident in who you are.
That's true. That's true. I mean, yeah.
You know, I have to ask you this though.
Can't hear you.
Can we do sometime when I don't have this lag? You know, I feel
Yes.
like this information is so important and
Yes.
I really want to get this out, Olga. But the thing about it is, I, if I were your viewers, I'd be very frustrated right now because they're catching every other word. And I'm thinking that this is so valuable. It really does revolutionize relationships and also your relationship with yourself. Because if, for instance, you are a person who does not have a defined sense of identity, which you do, Olga. Your sense of identity is what allowed you to fight that college professor because your identity was strong and you made your case and you believed in it. But there are many, many, many people who do not have a defined sense of identity, not have a defined sense of identity. Your power would be stronger than theirs, and that might cause friction in a relationship. People need to be able to know what's causing these different types of problems in relationships. You know, I
Yes.
don't know for you, has anyone ever called you overbearing?
No. I think the Libra, looking at astrology, the Libra ascendant
Have
makes
they
me like,
ever called,
continue, continue. I'll tell you what they've called me, but go ahead. I like this.
sometimes, well, what can end up happening with your chart is you're a very strong, powerful woman. If you were a man, that would not be perceived as threatening. But you
Right.
take a person with a chart like this who's female, and that can get you a bad rap
Right.
because we don't know how to take a female that's wired the way you are. But there is no masculine and feminine. And that's the beautiful part. Let me clarify what I just said. There is masculine and feminine energy, but human design charts do not run towards this is a masculine trait and this is a feminine trait. It runs towards, it can be, you can find this trait in a female, you can find this trait in a male. Your chart
Mm-hmm.
is your chart. And we have to get away from stereotyping energy as, well, she shouldn't act like that, she's a female, or he shouldn't act like that, he's a male. Because as
I
we're
agree.
evolving the species, we're beginning to understand that energy transcends masculine and feminine. It transcends the idea. Energy is masculine and feminine, but it transcends the gender we apply to it. There can be
Right.
males with your energy and there can be females with your energy. And we don't need to pigeonhole those things and say a man shouldn't act this way or a woman shouldn't act that way. And in
That's right.
relationships, if you've got a person who is a real strong person that has a lot of controlling nature, and I want to be able to specify that because every single gate in the chart, while I have some no lag for a second, everything has an expression from low to high, and you want to move it. You want to evolve that energy. Like your gate 33, you want to evolve that from the very lowest expression to the highest expression. And that happens naturally through our lives. You know, as you get older, you start gaining your wisdom that comes simply from living. So if you've got an controlling nature, which I have a lot of control in my chart, as I've grown and evolved, I've recognized that my need for control was all about feeling safe. I would try to control everything around me so that I didn't feel like the world was falling apart. And that ended up being controlling of relationships. Well, I learned that if I'm stepping on someone else's chart, I'm actually suffocating them because they need to be able to express themselves as well. So human design works well because someone can say in a couple's situation, hey, you probably don't realize you're doing this, but you're stepping all over this other person because
Yeah.
it was innocent enough. My thought was I was helping, but I didn't realize we all have our own charts. We all have our way of being, and we need to each be our authentic self, not cover each other up. And,
Right.
early on, I got married at 19. People tell you you should be, the two of you should grow to become one. That's the worst advice. You should always be two.
Yeah. Yes.
Because
Yes.
if you
Yes.
become one, somebody loses themselves.
Yeah. We're definitely going to do this again. I mean, I had planned on it, and especially, with the whole lag thing. And I think I want to do something you've done that I've seen you do in other channels on how I can give you somebody you don't know anything about. And then you read them like somebody in the news, somebody that we're familiar with. I think that
Okay.
would be awesome too, because I think that's extremely
Yeah, that'd be
fun
fun.
and interesting.
Yeah.
And that'll help people see how amazing it is what you're doing and how everybody should get their chart read by Darlena. I'm not even promoting her, guys. I'm telling you the truth. Like, you need to get this
You know,
reading. It will, I don't care how old you are. I don't care if you're male or female. I'm telling you straight up. And especially for those males, in fact, that have had a pretty rough run with women. I just had a guy leave a comment on one of my videos, I think it was yesterday, and the paragraph was like, listen, I worked 18 hours a day, 6 days a week, and the only thing she cared about is, when am I bringing the paycheck? Now, I can unpack that in so many ways, okay? Because it's easy to say that. And it's like, well, we don't know if this person, this man in the situation, that's all you did. You just worked. Like, that doesn't make you a husband, and it doesn't make you a partner. And so and then how do we know that you didn't accustom her on that? Like, oh, you're my paycheck guy. You know what I mean? Like, and that's the dynamic you guys created from the get-go. Or maybe that was, I don't know. I don't have the details on how long they were married or all these things, but this victim shit has got to
right.
stop. This victim shit's got to stop, because we can all have a victim moment, right? We can have a hard time. You and I, we've talked on the phone. We've been so open and honest. We have no problem saying, yeah, we had a rough time, or I went through a rough time, or, we can say that. But when men get in that mentality, and it's like, I brought the paycheck and that's all she cared about is when I was going to bring the paycheck. That's a victim mentality that's not real masculine, in my opinion, because I don't, even as a female, I don't walk out of a relationship saying, I gave this guy everything, he didn't appreciate me. I'll give you a little more details. Like, hey, he was a great guy, but not for me, because this guy, like, say, I don't know, I'm not going to say my last boyfriend, but maybe the one before. But something's very common in a relationship is that people get comfortable. Let's just put it that way, right? I don't like that. I get bored. And then they want me to perform like I performed the first year, but like, you're not acting the same way. You just get in bed and roll over and let's have sex every night. Like, maybe you want a blow up doll. You know what I mean? Like, what do you think? The foreplay starts in every second, right? From the moment you wake up, how you treat each other, good morning, little love notes, flowers, all kinds of stuff, and it's like, and then if you go out to dinner for a guy and say they want to split the bill, and I'm living with you, say you're my husband, and you're like, yeah, let's split the bill. Really? And I've literally told my partners, if you want me to pay for half this bill, the sex is going down, right? Like, I'm not going to be attracted to you. And it's not about the money. It's about the fact that who did the groceries, who cooked the food, who packed your lunchbox and gave you a little something, little nookie on your way out the door. And we're talking every day. Like, we're talking, I'm high level, spoiling them, clothing them, taking care of everything. They never have to worry about their laundry detergent, toilet paper, nothing. And they just come home and they get pissed off if I want to go to happy hour because, wait, you're not coming to, like, I thought we were have dinner and like watch a movie like we did every night of the week. Like, really? And after 4 years, 5 years, 6 years, I'm so happy that that's happiness for you, but that doesn't excite me. And you want that exciting woman in the bedroom, you got to bring some excitement here, brother. Like, but see, so when men say this, my heart goes out to them because maybe their wife or their, girlfriend, whoever, maybe she is lays on the sofa all day watching TV, eating bonbons, right? Like the old school way of saying things, right? Maybe they did have a lazy female, Again, it works both ways, but I've never seen a couple that puts the effort, right? And like the human
Yeah,
design, I think helps that. Go ahead. You got out again. You said your first what?
On my short list, on the short list, I'd be looking for the gate 10 in his chart. I'd be looking at the gate 40. I would be looking to see if he has a defined identity or an undefined identity. I'd be looking to see whether or not he's a projector. I would be looking to see whether or not he has a defined will. He is clearly in victimhood there. And the victimhood, if you've got the gate 10 in your chart, depending on where it's at, it can literally just be this vicious circle that runs through every single thing in your chart, because you can't get out of the victimhood. And then if he were to have been a projector, somebody for what they've done, not for praise. It's not about praise. It's about them needing to be recognized for their efforts. So if he's going to work every day and it's outside of his design to do so, then he's doing a really big thing for her. And so then if she's not appreciating it, that would make him resentful. But It could be any number of things. And without the chart, we could advise him 90 different ways, and they may or may not be right. If we were talking to his wife and we were able to look at the chart and say, hey, listen, you're married to a projector. You need to give this guy some props. You need to recognize this man. But then if she said, like what you were saying, well, why? He doesn't recognize me back. Then we'd be looking at her chart to see what is it she needs. Because the thing is, we all have needs. But let me tell you what, everybody wants to do for others what they want done for themselves. And there's a problem there, because you're not married to yourself. You're married to someone else.
That you nailed it. That was beautiful.
Own way of being. And if you're trying, you've got to figure out what they need. That's what human design does.
Boom. I love it. Well, I'll tell you what, Darlena, I'm going to wrap it up because of the connection, and we're going to be together soon. I'm going to have you on again. I'll make sure to, let everybody know so that hopefully they can set their schedules to be able to talk to you live here on the live stream. But guys, you can also contact Darlena. Like, you don't have to wait for the next live, but I'm looking forward to the next thing that we're going to be presenting to you guys, to help you understand more and to enjoy yourselves too, because I have to figure out who I'm going to test her with. That's somebody in the news. Guys, let me know. Give me some ideas. Don't tell Darlena though, don't let her know. Maybe you should DM me privately. But Darlena, I'm going to let you go for now because of the connection.
Thank you so much.
Oh, no. Thank you, Darlena. I'll be in touch. Have a wonderful day. I'm sure the internet's going to be fixed by next time. It'll be a smooth sail, baby. All right. Much love, Darlena. I'll talk to you soon. Thank you. Thank you, Darlena, for everything. Thank you for being here. Is she awesome? Too bad she had such a bad connection. I will be coming to you live tomorrow to do a reaction video of an artist that I've never heard of. And you're not gonna believe me. I know it. Because once I looked them up, I'm like, how do I not know this guy? But because I always like to do real live raw reactions, and it's going to be a first time reaction, I didn't want to listen to any of his songs, because even if I've already heard them, I have no clue. And he was in the news like a couple weeks ago, and I was like, ooh. So tomorrow, get ready for the surprise video reaction that I'm going to do live, as always, real live raw reactions. If you haven't become a member, become a member. And if you haven't subscribed, smash that subscribe button so we don't miss each other, especially the notification bell. So yeah, tomorrow, somewhere around like 1:30 Eastern Standard Time. Oh, well, if all works, that's what I'll be coming on. And for now, well, thank you for joining me, by the way. And thank you if you've smashed that like button. If you haven't smashed that like button, smash that like button. Thank you. There's so many ways you can help. And to support my channel, join me on Locals. I'm actually going on Locals in about 5 minutes, 5 to 10 minutes. I'm going to be there adding to this live. We're going to do the re-e-stream on Locals. The link is in the description below. Become a member. You support my channel. You're my sponsor. You're my only sponsor. Obi-Wan Kenobi, you're my only help. For real. Like, I'm joking around, but without you, I cannot continue this. And I appreciate all of you that already helped me. And even if, like I said, by sharing this content, smashing that like button, can't thank you enough. Can't wait to see you over on the other side on Locals today, happening in a few. And then tomorrow for the real live raw reaction of, I don't know, maybe I'll tease you guys. I'll definitely tell the members first before I do it. Locals and on YouTube. Much love, guys. Thank you for your patience. I'm sorry that the connection wasn't so good, because there was some juice she was giving us, some real good juice, and I wanted to hear more about like what else. And I don't know if you guys heard that part when I was like, and so you say the good, I'm like, you say the bad and the ugly, like, come on, let's see what, what's the bad part about my chart, my human design. All right, well, until next time, much love, many blessings, and I'll talk to you soon.